All right, what's going on, everybody? Obviously, we got to talk about the One Punch Man stuff. The One Punch Man stuff, it's gone a little overboard. I want to talk about like how I was approaching it personally, and then all the drama that happened real quick if you didn't catch it. And then I feel like I owe JC staff a little like chill time, because I'm usually pretty critical of them on my channel, but yeah, I feel like it's time to give them a little slack. We got Jose. How you doing, Jose? We got Justin. What's going on, Justin? Eddie Rayman, Vertigo, Izzy, J-Man. How's everybody doing? Yeah, so if you didn't catch the drama, basically what happened was, well, obviously, even if you aren't watching it, you've probably seen some images of One Punch Man Season 3, and it's not great. How's it going, J-Man? Yeah, One Punch Man does not look great. Here's the thing, though, and this is where I distinguish myself from everyone else. I've never really said JC staff, and if I have, it's not really consistent with what I actually believe, but I've never really said JC staff is bad. Like, I've probably said they're a bad studio, but only because, like, just because of their work product, they tend to kill anime. That being said, the anime they make, at least in the last 5 years or so, are not, like, categorically bad. They're just mid. That much you can't really argue. That being said, the reaction to One Punch Man, as warranted as it may seem, is totally out of hand and uncalled for. Before we start, DC news, 2 people have passed away. Know who passed away? Yeah, they made the director leave social media. So that's what happened, right? And that's what I want to talk about real quick. We got Ray Akayama in chat. How you doing? If their team would be given enough time by the committee, they could cook 5-star meals 10 out of 10 times. I don't know if it's the time or what, but this has been a consistent issue with them ever since One Punch Man Season 2. Like, with every project they do, all of their projects look like this. So that's why I'm, like, desensitized. The issue is, like, the people who watch One Punch Man, most of them don't really watch anime. They're anime tourists. So, like, I excuse me, I would be willing to bet the majority of people who, you know, watched Season 2 and are coming back for Season 3, the majority of those people did not watch Eden Zero, did not watch Magic Lumiere, did not watch Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest. If you've seen these anime, then you know, like, this is just what JC staff makes. Like, this is what their stuff looks like. It's not Science Saru, it's not Mappa, but it's not bad. Like, it's not great, but it's watchable. It's passable. That's what I've always said. It's passable. Excuse me. We got CW in the chat. How you doing, CW? That's the thing. They're a mixed bag, is what I would say. Like, they're just inconsistent. They're consistently mid, but the reason they're mid is because, like, every show they make, some of the episodes will look like really good, and then some of the episodes will just be like, meh. Couple of people passed away. Well, that's a shame, man. Yeah, it's you know, Rising stars and all that. We got Eden's in chat. How you doing, Eden's? Been watching Tojima Wants to Be a Common Writer. I've definitely heard of that. I can't remember where I heard of that. I think just looking online. I don't know. But it sounds familiar. Hold up. There we go. Yeah, that feels right. There we go. I think season 2 of One Punch Man looked pretty good at times. Yeah, and I think that's what's going to end up being the story for season 3. I think people are going to be like, oh, there was actually some good stuff. That's the thing about JC Staff. The in-between stuff does not look great, but like they'll find a way to make certain key moments look good. And the reason I put Eden Zero in the thumbnail is because if you watched Eden Zero season 1, season 2 was like whatever. If you watched Eden Zero season 1, the best scene in season 1 is when Wise uses Arsenal for the first time on the Omura planet, whatever it's called, Red Jewel or Sun Jewel, I think it's called. But all the stuff with Arsenal looks awesome, like genuinely looks professional, looks good, looks clean, well animated. It looks awesome. And when those episodes or that episode dropped, the people who worked on that episode put the clip on Twitter and they were like, hey, I worked on this, you know, it was really exciting. And like all the Eden Zero fans were losing their mind. So I think, honestly, some of this is just like shock, because again, I would imagine a lot of people who are watching One Punch Man season 3 don't really watch JC Staff's other stuff. They haven't seen Eden Zero, Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, or Magic Lumiere. But the other thing is, especially if they're anime fans, well, I'd say it's a mix between anime and manga fans for One Punch Man, but I just think the people who, you know, were bashing JC Staff are entitled. Like, does it suck that the anime doesn't look as good as the manga? Yeah. But at least you have an anime. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, make some corny argument like, oh, well, you know, it's better than nothing. But, you know, I've been waiting 6 years to see this stuff animated. You know what I mean? Like, at least you get to see it, right? At least it's watchable. The problem is everyone is like making it out to be worse than it is, and they're looking for every single possible mistake or error they can find. And the thing about their critiques is like, they're not very in-depth. They're just like, it looks bad. Well, what looks bad about it? It just looks bad. Like, I agree with the sentiment. It doesn't look great. But then you ask them like, okay, well, what don't you like about it? And they're like, oh, it looks bad. And you're like, I don't really think you know what you're talking about. Sleep schedule messed up because I stayed up late. Honestly, same. That's kind of why I started the stream a little late, because my days running a little behind myself. But yeah, I feel that. The issue is that a lot of fans put their expectations way too high up to unrealistic levels. The people who are in the camp of like, we need Madhouse to come back, man, they are like the biggest copium junkies I've ever seen in my life. Like the fact that Madhouse is supposedly hiring Mappa to help them with Freerun, that should cue you into the fact that they have zero intent of taking over One Punch Man. And somebody on Twitter pointed it out. It's like, why would they want to take back a project where if they make even a slight mistake, there is proven data to show that they're going to get, I say this tongue-in-cheek, crucified on Twitter. Speaking of which, I do want to bring up the Twitter drama briefly because I recorded a video on it, so I don't want to say too much for the people who are gonna watch this and then watch the video. But yeah, I have my 2 cents on that. I think the common thing with JC staff that comes up is their extremely strict schedule. So apparently, I didn't watch the video, but if you're familiar with Weeb Commander, apparently he's quoted saying that JC staff had 6 years to work on it, which I don't think is true. I mean, most studios don't get six years to work on a project. There was, I think, 6 years in between season 2 and season 3, but I don't think they had 6 years to work on it. I think they had like 2 years tops. Even then, 2 years is kind of a tight schedule. So it's the thing, like, it's a combination of like people being a bit entitled, people going into it very biased with unrealistic frame of reference, frame of perspective. And then the other thing is like, now we're just making stuff up. Like, yeah, it's not great. One Punch Man Season 1 had one of the most stacked animation teams. I wouldn't really know them by name. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know a lot of animators in the industry or directors by name. But just the fact that it's Madhouse. I mean, let's pull up Madhouse, because I know they've done One Punch Man, they've done Freerun. I know they've done some other stuff. They've also done Overlord, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. Sort by newest. Let's go scroll down. Is this all their stuff? Yeah, let's go to TV. Scroll down. They did Hajime no Ippo, the 2000 version. So I think that was the newer one. Hajime no Ippo, right? Am I crazy? What? There were 2 anime. And then there was Hajime no Ippo Champion Road, which was also Madhouse, so I don't know. I know there's a couple of different anime for Hajime no Ippo, but they did Hajime no Ippo, the 2001. What else did they do? Captain Tsubasa. What else? They did Monster, which would have been 2004. They did the 2004 Monster anime. They did Black Lagoon, which, if you haven't seen Black Lagoon, looks amazing, especially for, God, that can't be older than like 2007. Yeah, it was April 2006 to June 25th, 2006. Those are my lucky numbers. Was there a sequel? I forget. That's like one season. Black Lagoon, the second Barrage, also Madhouse. Yeah, so. What else did they do? Death Note. They did the Claymore anime, which I have not seen, but definitely need to watch. That reminds me, I need to watch the, actually, yeah, I think we were having this conversation previously, and that's how I came across it, but I'm pretty sure they're the ones who did the, Darkstalkers anime, like the 2004 one. Claymore. But yeah, somebody in chat, if you've seen the Claymore anime, is it any good? Because I haven't read the manga yet. They did a Devil May Cry anime, Maple Story, which is kind of random. Cass Hearn Sins. Hajime no Ippo, new challenger, so another one. What else? High School of the Dead. They did Hunter x Hunter. I always forget that one, but they did the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime. Hajime no Ippo Rising, another one. Diamond no Ace. No Game, No Life. That's a good one. Overlord, I was right. They did Overlord, which, even considering the CGI, looks really good. What else? No Guns Life, which, you know, was whatever, but looks good. Tact OP Destiny, which I remember being okay. At least that's what people said. And then, of course, they did Frieren. Apparently, they did Trillion Game, which is Inagaki's new series after Dr. Stone. That's pretty much it. What was the... I feel like they did something else I'm forgetting. I think that's it, yeah. So, I mean, they have a ton of good series under their belt. Basically, what I'm getting at is anytime Madhouse does an anime, there's like a 95% chance it's going to be the best looking thing ever. Yu-Gi-Oh? They did not do Yu-Gi-Oh. Wait a minute. Yu-Gi-Oh! Where are we? Yu-Gi-Oh! 1998. Who did that? That was Toei. Get out of here. Has Madhouse abused their animators on par with MAPPA or to that level? That's not what I've heard. I haven't heard any crazy stories like the stories I've heard about MAPPA. That being said, even if you don't hear stories, I think they all do it. I don't think it's certain studios and then other studios are like innocent. I think they all do it to a degree. I think that's just the industry. That's the industry of animation in general, but specifically in Japan, they have that very strict culture. Claymore is all right, ending in anime filler. I would imagine they probably started the anime before the manga was finished. Either that or they only did like one season and then they ended it. That's the story with a lot of 2000s anime. To do less than their best is an insult to both the source material and season 1. So I imagine you're talking about One Punch Man. Again, the thing is, one, they didn't make season 1, so it's kind of unfair to hold them to that standard. The other thing is, like, the thing everyone's been saying is, like, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. I've been saying this for a while, like, what the is going on at JC staff? Because this is just what all of their anime look like. So I get the impression that, like, their whole strategy is, like, just make anime and it doesn't matter if it looks good. Like, they're just trying to pump out shows. So they're like an economy Mappa. Because when Mappa was on their JJK run, they were like doing an anime every season. And after about a year or two, they're like, oh, this is way harder than we thought. And they cut back. I think like right after the time they got Chainsaw Man out, they're like, yeah, this is kind of crazy. So now they balance it between a few anime a year and movies. That being said, I think they actually do more anime than I'm pointing out, but I do think they've dialed back a bit. I could also be talking out of my butt here. I'm not sure. I'm kind of riffing right now. I thought the founders of Mappa came from Madhouse because of the working conditions. See, I didn't know that, so that makes total sense. But at the same time, obviously they didn't learn their lesson because look at all the stories coming out of Mappa. A1 Pictures is more like that, to be honest. What, pumping out anime every season? I think so. If we look up, I know they have a ton of series. Okay. Let's go to, just kidding. Oh, how did I do that? There we go. I didn't realize they did Mashal. I thought that was somebody else. That's crazy. 86. Obviously Solo Leveling. Sword Art Online. Kaguya-sama. I always remember that one. They did the final season of Fairy Tail. They were part of Darling in the Franxx. Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff. Am I crazy? Did they do no, I don't think so. I thought they did no, I almost said they were the ones who did Promised Neverland, but that was Studio Wit, right? Am I crazy for saying that? I want to say that was, no, that was Cloverworks. Cloverworks. I always mix those guys up because they work on a lot of projects together. Yeah, Cloverworks. Thank you. So far, One Punch Man is looking better than 100 Years Quest. That is impressive because Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest actually looks kind of good. Like, it doesn't really look bad. Studio Dean is a big studio. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm not in the industry, so I don't really know how that works, but it's kind of weird to see how, like, sometimes you'll have a huge studio, but then, like, they don't really make the best stuff. Anyway, so I kind of lost track of what we were talking about, but basically what I'm working up to is like Madhouse, like anything they make, is 95% chance it's gonna look godly, right? JC Staff, on the other hand, not so much. But if you watch JC Staff's anime from the last 5 years, like, this is not surprising. So there's a bunch of different factors. But that's it. That being said, it's very unfair to hold them to that standard, and it's also unrealistic to expect Madhouse to come back. So that brings us to the recent drama. Hold on. One of my editors messaged me. 1 second. So what happened was a ton of people made reviews, naturally, of One Punch Man. Everyone saying this is trash, this sucks, JC Staff sucks, it sucks, excuse me. So this culminated into Charlie, aka Moist Critical. He made a review. I didn't watch it in full, but basically he said, I hope I'm wrong, but One Punch Man Season 3 is terrible, right? He's like, it's bad, it looks bad. I don't have high expectations for it getting better, it looks bad, right? So of course, Moist Critical is one of the biggest channels on the internet, not just YouTube. So once he made the video, everyone rode the bandwagon. But as far as I know, he like dropped it after that review. Like, he didn't, you know, hop on Twitter and start tweeting about it nonstop, right? He made the video, and then that was kind of the end of it. I could be wrong. If somebody can think of anything else he did, point it out. But I think that's really all he said. But once he posted that video, everyone hopped on the bandwagon of like, oh, he said it's bad, so I'm also going to say it's bad, and I'll get views, right? Because like, this is the cool thing to say now. Even though he said, I hope I'm wrong, right? Like, genuinely wants the show to get better. So then, if you have not heard of him, his name is Nicholas Light. He's a reaction channel. He reacts to seasonal anime, and he also does a lot of reactions to anime openings. But he posted a reaction to Charlie's video, right? Because, you know, that's the whole reaction meta is, hey, big person with clout made controversial video, so I'm gonna react to said controversial video for views. It's happened to me. I've had videos that, you know, were less than accepted by people, and so people ride the traffic of that. I've also just had videos that do well and people imitate and try to be sneaky, but they don't do well because they're basically just plagiarizing, and they're not as good as me. So basically he made that. He made an episode 1 review where he said how trash the show is, and then he made an episode 2 review, excuse me, saying how trash the show is. Let me pull up his channel. But yeah, this all culminated in the director of One Punch Man. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he put out a couple of posts. I think the first one was, yeah, I'm signing off Twitter because what people are doing to our studio, verbally abusing us, is ridiculous, and I'm not going to stand for it or take it. But the other tweet that he put out, or the other message he put out, was even more interesting. And it's going to be Shinpei Nagai. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Well, let's look up Nicholas Light. I just want to see exactly. Yeah, so he put out, where's the reaction? Excuse me, no, so I got the order wrong. He did, where's the first episode? And he's also been reacting to the trailers as well. I thought he did an episode 1 review, but I can't find it. Oh, he did. Okay, so he did an episode 1 review. He reacted to trailers. He did one video that I haven't watched, but I imagine it's called Dear One Punch Man Fan. So I would imagine he basically said, "Screw you guys, you're haters," right? Then he did an episode 2 review, which I watched in full, and it's just not a good video. Like, it's not even entertaining. It's just cringe. Then he reacted to Charlie Moist Critical, basically saying F One Punch Man Season 3, right? It's trash. And then he did something interesting. The director expected fans, audience, not be negative over behavior. However, got backfired. They can't hold back. It's pretty tragic. So basically what happened is this guy, but here's the thing. So this guy, Nicholas Light, posted all these videos, his reviews, his reactions, but he was not the only person. To be fair, he's a big channel in the anime space. He does get a lot of views, so it is fair to say that his videos would stand out, but he wasn't the only person making videos like this. So because there were so many people making these kinds of videos after Moist Critical, the director is like, "Screw you guys. You're jerks. We don't deserve this. I'm getting off Twitter. Have a nice rest of the year," basically is what he said. So then, this guy, Nicholas Light, puts out a video saying the director of One Punch Man Season 3 is upset at me. It should be upset with me, but apparently Nicholas Light is apparently not very grammatically inclined. Which I also watched, and he basically like manufactures drama that he really didn't even start. He just exacerbated, but he manipulated the narrative so that he became the face of it. I wouldn't even necessarily say the center of it, but he became the face of it. And everyone on Twitter called him out, like, "You're rage baiting, you're a hater, you're a jerk, you are ruining One Punch Man." So his reaction, right? Because he gets in this video and he says, this director is targeting me, and you know, I can't be silenced, right? I'm gonna speak my truth. And then he tweets on Twitter how he comes up with this crazy theory, basically saying that this is all a conspiracy by Bandai Namco to shut him down and silence him, and, you know, like, basically shadow ban his content, and he can't be stopped. He's going to speak the truth. He's going to expose everything to the light. And it's just very cringe. Like, he literally said that he's being crucified. So he basically called himself Anime Jesus, which is just so cringe. Like, it's ridiculous. And the funny thing is, this is a two-parter. First of all, he goes on this tirade about free speech, and he shut off replies. So you couldn't even reply to his tweet talking about how important free speech is. That was number one. Number two was when everyone blasted him in the quote tweets, rightfully so, after about, I want to say 8 hours, 12 hours, he privated his account. If you look up Nicholas Light, I just want to confirm this. This was the case this morning. He might have changed it, but I doubt it. Nicholas Light. Let's see. Yeah, these posts are protected. So he privated his account. He has a Twitter account with over 67,000 followers, and he privated his account. Basically, so many people were flaming him. So many people were roasting him after he made this, you know, he stood on his soapbox and preached about free speech and art criticism. He just shut down any attempt at free speech. So, pardon my French, but the guy's a total douche. He has to be one of the most pretentious people I've ever seen in my life. Like, he made it out like he's a champion of free speech and art criticism. And then as soon as he started a discourse that he didn't like what people had to say, he just left the conversation. So it's like, did you really want to have a discourse, or did you just want your 5 seconds of fame? It's crazy. The ops are already inside the house. Yeah. Entitled loser. Yep. He ran away after talking big. That's the thing, is he talked so much game, and then when it came time to stand behind what he had to say, he just ran away. So it's crazy. Privating with almost 67,000 followers. That's the thing. It's like, bro, be a big boy. Like, stand behind what you say. We should be thankful that One Punch Man even gets another season. I understand the sentiment that, like, you know, we shouldn't have to be like, well, at least we have a season. But at the same time, like, it's not so much like we should be thankful or we should be happy that there's even a season, but we should be thankful that it's watchable. I mean, to give you an alternate example, look at Promised Neverland Season 2. The animation is fine. Obviously, there's a clear lack in quality compared to Season 1, but that's not why people say like that series is like unwatchable. It's because of the writing, right? At least they're adapting the manga, you know, basically bar for bar, and, you know, it's watchable. Like, you can enjoy it, right? If you don't look for every flaw you can possibly find, it's watchable. Is it the best thing you've ever seen? Of course not, but it's watchable. Yeah, it's ridiculous. To put a cherry on top of things, he actually tweeted a poll saying, should I keep doing my One Punch Man reviews on Monday? And like within, I think, an hour, he had half the internet saying, you know, F no, like, of course not. So like an hour later, he shut down the poll. So everybody hates this guy now. So here's the crazy thing, and the reason I bring this up, and I'm going to talk about this more in the video I'm going to upload this weekend, but the reason I bring this guy up is not because I'm trying to join the bandwagon and, you know, do it for traffic. The reason I bring this up is because he is a symptom of a greater problem in the community. And this is something you're going to hear me say more often, because I want to keep stressing this. Everyone in the anime community, it's a problem online, but it's particularly noticeable in the anime community. Everyone wants to be an expert, but nobody wants to be a fan. And I'm going to say that one more time before I explain what I mean. Everybody wants to be an expert. Nobody knows how to be a fan. Let me explain what I mean. You have a guy like Nicholas Light going into these reactions, right? And here's the thing about reactions. They're really not even reviews. The whole value in a reaction is just to have an entertaining reaction to the thing on the screen. Nobody really cares like what your deeper thoughts are. They just want to see whether you like it or you don't like it, right? It's not like a review. But he does these reactions and, you know, claims to be a champion of free speech and claims like to be an expert in or speaks as if he's an expert on animation, right? But if you actually watch his videos, like I watched a couple of his One Punch Man videos, his criticism of the animation is the animation needs to move good. I'm going to say that again. It needs to move good. That's the criticism. That's the critique that makes you a champion of free speech. Really? The pictures move good or the pictures don't move good? Come on, man. Get over yourself. So when I say, sorry, I was looking for a straw. When I say everyone wants to be an expert, nobody wants to be a fan, everyone wants to have like the best opinion. Everyone wants to watch the best shows, the top rated shows on Mal, the top rated shows on Analyst or IMDb. Everyone wants to, you know, watch the popular shows. Everyone wants to give their shows a 10 out of 10. Everyone, you know, wants to one up everyone with their anime takes. But nobody just wants to like enjoy stuff, right? Which culminates in this culture where like everyone claims to be an expert on animation. Everyone claims to be an expert on manga art. Everyone claims to be an expert on sakuga, right? Everyone claims to be an expert on character writing. And this is where you get guys like Nicholas Light who want to talk like they know what they're talking about. And it's like, just say if you like stuff or you don't like stuff and explain why you don't like it or why you like it. The problem is everyone wants to watch shows so they can have an opinion, but nobody watches shows to have taste. Like nobody has taste. They just have opinions. And you know what they say about opinions? Opinions, excuse me. Yeah, I say it better in my video, but that's really the problem, is everyone wants to be an expert. Nobody wants to be a fan. And this is where we get into situations, you know, like Solo Leveling getting like Fantasy of the Year, Anime of the Year, Freerin, you know, every episode is a 10 out of 10 because everyone wants to have the best opinion and everyone wants to watch, you know, 10 out of 10 shows. It's like, just watch stuff you like. That's all. And if you don't like something, just stop watching it. Like, that's the thing. I don't think One Punch Man looks that good, but I just don't watch it. That's it. That's the solution. If I really want to, I'll go read the manga. But that's the thing, is you have people watching shows not because they want to watch the shows, but because they want to critique them and give opinions when they don't even like the show. Like half the people saying One Punch Man is trash don't even like One Punch Man. They just want to get online and talk about why this is bad animation. When really they don't, like, they can't even explain what makes a bad animation. They just know it looks bad. So it's crazy. This is why I hate video essayists. They act like they know everything. That's what I would have said a few months ago. But I think there's a difference, right? Kind of like there's a difference with like clickbait. There's good clickbait and there's bad clickbait. Bad clickbait is like rage bait. Like you're literally just baiting. Good clickbait is like, here's something interesting. Okay, now that I have you, let's talk about this, right? Classic media hook. With video essays, there's a sentiment from 10 or 20 years ago on YouTube where, like, especially with anime, because anime fans have this weird identity of like everything is like this Freudian, you know, philosophical, psychological deconstruction of shonen, right? And it's very pretentious. But there's this sentiment from like 10 or 20 years ago where like you need to make like an analysis of anime. You need to analyze everything. And in this video, we're going to talk about the psychology, the brilliance, the eminence of Haikyuu, of One Piece, right? So that's the half of, or that's the side of video essays that I'm like, shut up. You're a dude with a mic and Adobe. Like, chill out. Just say words. That's all. Then there's the other half of video essayists where I guess I fall into, where you're not making reaction content and you're not really doing reviews. You're just kind of posting opinions or discussions, which are really just essays. So yeah, I would call my videos, at least recently, video essays. I think that's pretty accurate. Everyone wants to be an expert and not a fan. That perfectly describes every AniTuber. That describes a lot of them. I don't think that's true for all of them. There are, something that has come out of this recent dialogue is people are saying anime YouTube is complete trash. There are good channels, but they get overshadowed by the loud minority, which is a good segue into the other talking point I want to make. Beauty of disappointing masterpiece titles like that. No, the best one is like literally just anything and then you put the brilliance of in front of it. That's like, that's when I know it's going to be the most mid video I've ever seen. Yeah, so screw that. So the other reason, the reason I said before, the reason I bring this stuff up is because, the reason I bring this stuff up is because Nicholas Light, I don't care what he thinks. I honestly don't think anyone else cares. Here's the thing, right? I brought this up before. The thing about Nicholas Light is he's got just short of 1.2 million subscribers. He averages like 100,000 views a video, a ton of views. He also has a Twitch account. So he's a big channel in the anime space, but every time I talk to an anime fan, nobody knows who he is. And if they do know who he is, they say something like, oh yeah, I've seen his videos in my feed, but I don't watch them. Or I've seen his videos, they're slop, right? In my experience, I've never met anybody who even knows who he is, never mind watches his content. So it's very weird to have him be part of this discourse when nobody, like, he gets views, but nobody watches him and nobody likes him. I forget where I was going with that. Yeah, the thing about this guy is, like, nobody, I don't know a single person who, how you doing, Josh? Good to see you. What was I gonna say though? Oh, so yeah, part of it is because he's a symptom of the real issue, which is everyone is like just watching stuff to be critics, but nobody watches stuff like to just watch stuff they like, which is why you have these like debates where it's like just like stuff, like that's it, it's real easy. And the other issue is, I guess this is where I was going with like nobody likes him. It's also a symptom of the fact that there's a very loud minority in the anime fandom of people who are either like edgelords or like just very cringy, right? And normal anime fans have been like just patiently ignoring them, hoping they go away, which I still would say is the most sound strategy, but we've been ignoring them for 5+ years now and they haven't gone away. This is why you have somebody like Nicholas Light. Nobody knows who he is, and he just like places himself in the throne of like most obnoxious One Punch Man fan. And now he is, at least for the time being, speaking for One Punch Man fans when he doesn't speak for One Punch Man fans. So that's the reason you get someone like Nicholas Light, and that's the reason you also get someone like Chibi Reviews, who barely reviews anime. His name is Chibi Reviews. He barely reviews anime. He makes more videos about censorship and Hassan's dog collar than he does anime reviews, which is crazy. And Chibi Reviews is the worst case because people have really been trying to ignore him because his whole thing is rage bait. Literally his whole thing is rage bait. And so obviously the strategy from normal anime fans is, well, he's trying to bait us, so, you know, just don't give him the engagement. But again, we've been doing that for years now, and the problem is only getting worse. So I'm not saying we need to like, excuse me, I'm not saying we should like go to war on anime experts, but I do think we need to call these people out, which is exactly what happened. This guy called himself Anime Jesus on Twitter, and everyone called him out on his bullshit. They're like, get out of here. Stop it. Why don't you do it? Why don't I do what? Why don't I call them out? I'm doing it right now, and I'm also going to be posting a video, so look out for that. It just, I'm waiting for it to be edited. I made it sort of in the moment. He's been a rage baiter for over a decade now. Yeah, but he's been getting like clearly worse. Let me look up DBZ Imran. Is that how you say his name? I don't really watch his content, so. God. You know, I'm sure it's a very thoughtful, emotional video, but I saw at the top of his feed, I really didn't want to make this video. I need your help. I don't even know what the video is about, and this sounds very judgmental, but like, does anyone else hate that premise or hate that habit where people are like, I don't usually make this video, right? Or you know, I didn't want to make this video, and it's like, okay, so don't make the video. Like, literally, what are you doing, right? Like, don't claim, like, you know, it's very I don't know, not preachy, but like moralist, and I'm like, come on, be a big boy. Let's be adults about it. It's not drama. That's a video for his manga. No, I know, but like I can basically tell the video is probably something like, hey, I need, you know, support. I need a Patreon. I need, can you share this, whatever, right? But I'm making a very, and again, I'm being transparent. I'm not claiming to be better than anyone else. I'm fully aware that this sounds and is judgmental, but I really like, not even on the internet, just people in general. I really don't like when people say like, I don't usually say this kind of thing, or, well, I'm not trying to be blank, but I'm gonna be clearly blank anyway, right? It's like, just say it. Like, stop saying you're trying not to be a thing and then exactly do the thing. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah. One Punch Man. So the video that J-Man posted that he liked was One Punch Man season 3 drama, harassment and bullying. I'm assuming it says makes the director quit. I haven't watched it. I like DBZ Imran. I'm not his biggest fan, only because some of his behavior in the Bleach space has been less than ideal. Specifically, the way he went out of his way to try and call out Afro Senju when the Bleach game came out. I did not think that was a good look for him. That being said, I don't think he's a bad dude. I know at least one person who was really cool with him. I know he's done collabs with people who he didn't necessarily need to, because, you know, he's just cool. He makes good content. I like his Bleach reviews. They're like intelligent videos, creative videos. So I'm sure he made a decent video. Yeah. Yeah, he kind of sucks too. I don't think he sucks. I just... the way he handled that whole Bleach video game situation was not great. He tried to gatekeep, and I just thought it was not a good look, because I was like... So play devil's advocate, I understood where he was coming from, because apparently Afro Senju clowned on Bleach in the past, but it's also like, who cares? Like, really, who cares? Like, he's already a big channel. Like, it's not like he's doing it for the views. If anything, more Bleach fans is better. It's very weird to gatekeep series unless it's somebody like Chibi Reviews or Nicholas Light. Savannah Chapman has subscribed. Well, hello, Savannah. Pleasure to have you. One of fewer Bleach content creators. Yeah, that's the thing. I really like his Bleach videos. I think he has a lot of intelligent insights. Not just Bleach, but other series as well. It's just, he kind of kicked himself in the foot when, or he kind of kicked himself when he decided to go after Afro Senju and gatekeep. I did not think it was a good look. That being said, I think he's a cool dude. I just thought it was a bit weird of him to do that. The director of One Punch Man really should have kept his head down and ignored the negative responses. Why? Why should he have to put up with that stuff? They're literally just doing their job with the resources they have. Why should they have to go on the internet and see everyone telling them how bad they are at everything they do? And that's the other thing too, is the director is the captain. They're the team leader. They speak up for everyone else. So they took it on themselves to speak up for the staff. Like, hey, we're not making the best stuff, but we're doing the best we can. So could you not like call for us to, you know, get thrown off a cliff and stuff like that? Like, it's very immature. His response was polite, to be honest. I hope it was, because again, I've always thought he's a cool dude. I just thought the gatekeeping incident was not a good look. But I'm glad to hear he had a polite response. Are there big channels for Fairy Tail in 2025? It depends on your definition of big, but you know who's good is... I might have... Yeah, no, hold on. Iron Nancy on YouTube. He's got 8.21 thousand subscribers. He's got a One Punch Man video that is doing well, but to be fair, in his defense, he posted it 2 months ago before all this nonsense. So I wouldn't really toss him in with everybody else. But very on topic, weirdly enough, because he does regular coverage of Fairy Tail. He used to cover Eden Zero. We've collabed at least a couple of times. He's also a Patriots fan, for all of you football fans out there. So he's a cool dude. I really like him. He's chill. Always been good to me. I like his content. He's a cool dude. So if you're looking for regular Fairy Tail stuff, check out Iron Nancy on YouTube. Spelled like this. And if you visit his videos, tell him I sent you. Exactly, the staff need to focus on their job, on making the anime and not looking up on their tweets or Instagram messages. Here's the thing though, is like, it's unavoidable. Like, they're adults, they're gonna go on the internet, but like, it was getting so out of hand that it was literally impossible for them to like look anywhere and not see thousands of people on the internet basically saying to like off themselves. So I think what the director did was perfectly appropriate. Anyway, yeah, I think that's really all I have to say for today's stream. We're just over an hour now. I wanted to make the stream, one, because I have the video coming out tomorrow. So I wanted to kind of introduce the conversation a bit so it doesn't come out of the blue to anyone who might not have been aware of this recent discourse. I also felt obligated because, so for full transparency, I had a One Punch Man video scheduled for next week. I was going to post a One Punch Man video, classic OG video, what happened to One Punch Man. But I pulled it because I saw everyone hopping on the bandwagon, and I was like, you know what? At this point, even if I made the video like a month ago, it's just, I'm going to come off like a hack. Like, it's just not me. I don't like the timing. I really don't even like the message at this point. So I told my editor, they were like half done editing it, probably more. So I told my editor, I was like, hey man, stop the video, we're canceling this one. And I made this new video instead. And I also feel somewhat obligated to make this because I myself have regularly clowned on JC's staff. So I didn't contribute to this discourse, and by no means did I influence it. But I do feel like JC staff not learned their lesson, but like they've gotten the message, so enough is enough. So I feel like I should do my part to balance things out and be like, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. The animators share their work on Twitter. It's unavoidable. That's the thing. Like, they're on the internet. Even if, you know, they're not posting stuff on the internet, they're on the internet. So it's going to pop on their phones. It's unavoidable. But yeah, look out for a video this weekend. Hopefully tomorrow, might be Saturday, but I've got my 2 cents on the recent drama and also what I believe is the biggest problem in the anime community right now, and my 2 cents on how we can fix it. That'll be tomorrow. And Dawn doesn't have any scheduled breaks, right? I do have faith in JC staff, but they unfortunately got a very long way to go. I don't really like, I'm sure One Punch Man will have better looking scenes, but I don't think this season is going to get drastically better. And I also don't think that any of this discourse is going to influence their future projects. They've been doing the same thing for like 5 years now. I don't expect it to change all that much going forward. Where the hell is Dawn to Dawn? Here we go. Dawn to Dawn. Yep, new chapter Monday. So video this weekend, hopefully tomorrow, maybe Saturday. And then we'll do Dawn to Dawn stream as usual on Monday. I don't expect to, but hopefully I don't get flamed by half of the internet. Hopefully everyone doesn't call me a rage baiter or a clout chaser. But we'll see. It's a genuine video. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks everybody, and I will see you Monday. Peace.